This screencast was produced and is hosted by the open source knowledge contributors at DevCast.co.
Hi, this is John Davison, and we're going to do a quick DevCast with Dashing Rails. Dashing Rails is a very useful gem that will allow you to create high-quality dashboards that have simulated real-time data links to a server. There's all kinds of widgets involved and lots of different things you can do. Here in this example, we have a bare-bones dashboard that has 3 built-in widgets and 1 external widget. An interesting thing to note about these dashboards is that these tiles can be rearranged. It's very useful. To create a new dashing app, first thing we need to do is create a new Rails app. You can name this app anything you'd like. We're just going to name it Dashing. Now let's enter the app and let's open it in Sublime. The first thing we need to do is update the gem file. With Dashing Rails and Puma. We use Puma because Puma supports multi-threading, which is important for Dashing Rails. Now let's run our bundle command. Now we're going to run a generator, which will give us the structure that we need to run this app. Now we are going to update some configuration settings. To allow for concurrency. Now we're going to run this on a server. I should caveat that Dashing Rails uses Redis, so you need to ensure that you have a Redis instance running on your machine. Normal setup will do, but the setup is outside of the scope of this screencast, so we're not going to cover it. We'll navigate to our local host and we'll load the custom provided dashing/dashboards endpoint, and we now have a functioning dashboard. At a high level, Dashing uses the idea of a job, and we have access to a dashing object that has multiple methods and pieces of syntax that can be used on it. You want to check the documentation, but the important thing to understand is that the dashing scheduler can be passed a block, and inside that block we can specify all types of behaviors. In this example, the detail that we want to focus on, dashing.send event, and what occurs is a stream of JSON gets sent to the browser in accordance with the conditions that we set. And you'll notice here that this is titled valuation. And if you look at the sample.html.erb file that was created when we ran the generator, we have a list item in a div, and this list item here has the data ID valuation. And here is where Dashing Rails uses batman.js to create a two-way data binding so that any information that is created in these events, and in this case we're basically just generating random values that are being updated every 2 seconds. The magic happens when batman.js and Redis send all of this information to the browser, and you end up getting a dashboard that updates in near real time. It's not exactly real time, but it's very close, and for the purposes of pushing out data, it's highly useful. In order to highlight how these widgets work, we're actually going to implement an external widget. There's a host of widgets available at GitHub. Dashing Rails has some great generators built in. And once we run this generator, it's basically going to create a structure, and then it's up to us to populate that structure. And in order to do that, we actually need to first we need to update our gem file with some gems that we're going to need. And then we're going to basically copy in some code that's available from the widget library. And we're going to add some HTML code. We're going to add some CSS. We're going to importantly add the job. Actually, the generator didn't create that for us, so we'll just append it to sample.rb. And finally, we need to enter in the code into our dashboard. Like that, and we should be good to go. Make sure to reload the server once we've updated all the code, and let's go look at the dashboard we've made. As you can see, we have all the same tile elements in the stock dashboard, and now down here we have a new widget that represents an RSS feed from the Seattle Times. That is a high-level overview of dashing Rails and how to implement external widgets. Make sure to check the docs and the ASCII cast if you have more questions. Have a great day.
Connect further with this screencast author and get access to other world-class on-demand developer support at devhero.co.